Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another high-level match of StarCraft 2. Today it's time for a best of 5 series of Protoss versus Zerg, where in game number 1 we find ourselves on Inside and Out. Spawning right here in the top right-hand corner of the map, playing with the red Protoss probes, we have Nice. Although apparently he's playing under a different ID. I mean, he's from Taiwan, so I guess, well, that's the correct spelling. He is, however, better known under the, at least in the international community, under the idea of Nice. His opponent in the opposite corner, well, you may have already recognized him right there by the spinning badge on the main hatchery. With the blue Zerg pieces, we have Dark. I've been casting a lot of Dark games lately, and I'm personally not getting tired of it just yet. For some reason, Dark has been signing up for pretty much every single online tournament over the last couple of weeks. You know what? I'm here for it. We're currently in the off-season of StarCraft 2. I mean, IEM Katowice is coming up relatively soon, but between right now and then, there's not that many tournaments to be played, and yeah, I'm excited to see that some of the top tier players, like for example Hero and Dark and Beyond, even though I'm casting them a lot, I'm glad to see that they are participating in a bunch of tournaments. That being said, yeah, this is going to be a bit of an uphill battle for Nice, right? I mean, Dark, a top 5 player in the world any day of the week. I would say Nice is probably a top 50 player. He certainly has shown some very good results in the past, so when it comes to the Asian regionals for the DreamHack Masters, he has won 5 out of 8. So that's really impressive. I mean, he's been making a name for himself over the last couple of years. Now, when it comes, by the way, to the Asian regionals, if I understand correctly, it includes most Asian countries except South Korea, because, yeah, there would not be anyone else, you know, from any other country other than the Koreans playing in any of those DreamHack tournaments. Either way, what exactly do we have right here? We're starting off, apparently, in this best of 5 series with a Stargate opener. This is something that we have seen many times before. That being said, this is definitely not the fastest possible Stargate. Usually, actually, that one will start up a little bit quicker. That's because apparently Nice decided to go for the Warp Gate research together with Stalkers. Which is a little bit funny. I mean, whenever you go for Stalkers, you're basically saying, I'm not scouting you. I am not gonna scout you other than with maybe an Oracle later on. But between like minute, I don't know, 1.5 and like 3.5, 4, I'm not gonna get any vision on your side of the map whatsoever. And this is something that Dark can definitely abuse if he wants to. I've seen Dark play some very disrespectful series in the past. And I looked at a couple of the replay timers actually in this particular series as well. I noticed that some of the games are rather short. So I wouldn't be surprised at all. I don't know if this one is included, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if Dark decides to play a little bit cheekily. Yeah. So he's done this many times, right? Where he notices, yo, you're cutting a corner. I am going to abuse that right away because I think I'm better than you. So he decides to go for a Roach Warren right now at 320-ish, something like that. This is Dark, however, so you can't really lean on this all too much. But if this was any of the other top-level Zergs, I would definitely consider this to be an aggressive Roach Warren, because normally you don't make it any earlier than about 3.5 minutes, and that's still very, very early. So what exactly is the plan? Look right now, by the way, at the minimap vision here for Nice. He hasn't seen anything, right? So yeah, Roaches start up right away. There is a Spore Crawler building in a natural. We've stopped building Queens as well, so we're only at 4 of those. I've got a feeling that Dark indeed wants to end this game quickly. He's looking at the Stalkers. He realizes, yo, if you're going to go for the Warp Gate upgrade right away as well, the Stargate units are not going to show up very quick. Could be a Blink Stalker opener, could be a Robo Facility opener, could be an Archon drop, could be Dark Templar, could be a variety of builds. But I think especially against the Stargate, this can get a lot of work done. And I actually really like the fact that Dark is still making sure that he's got... Oh, there you go. He's got protection inside of his mineral lines as well. Apparently, not a whole lot of drones over at the third base, so no Spore Crawler is required there. Nice's plan here is to try and show up with a couple Oracles that are unscouted at a bit of an awkward timing. But yeah, he only gets 2 workers right now, and already the Zerg army is moving across the map. I'm assuming there's going to be Ravagers morphing in here as well, because Dark has a bunch of gas. Maybe he wants to wait for just a little bit. Obviously, though, in this Zerg army, there is no unit that shoots up. So those Oracles are going to have a grand old time. The other 2 right now are coming back home as well. I actually would have liked to see those flying back a little bit sooner. Stalkers are getting surrounded. Now the front door here is wide open. Yeah, that Stalker is also going to get picked off. Although, he does warping a couple of Stalkers there in time as well. I thought he was just going to run those straight into the natural expansion. But for now, actually, Nice is just fine. I mean, he's lost a bunch of stuff, but nothing all too crazy. There's still just non-stop unit production though here for Dark. Well, he adds on a couple drones again at this point, but he's been making non-stop Zerglings for a while. And at this point, with the energy out of the Oracles, there's just nothing to prevent those Zerglings from killing everything. Next up, Cosmic Sapphire. Despite game number 1, apparently Nice is not too triggered, and you love to see that. So he decides to go for a Nexus first against a Zerg player who has been 12 pooling quite a bit over the last couple of weeks. This would have been GG in a lot of circumstances. I mean, you can't create a wall of, obviously in Cosmic Sapphire the wall of is quite tight, but I can imagine if there's like a dozen Zerglings knocking on your front door and you don't have any attacking units, that the game may be a little bit tricky. But Nice decides to go for a Nexus first. This is of course going to give him some nice early game economy. That said, it does mean that all of his tech is going to be quite a bit delayed as well. So normally the cybernetic score, it finishes up at about the 2-minute mark. So you'll be able to see the clock right over here above the minimap. I'm pretty sure that he's not going to start the cybernetic score here until like the 2-minute mark now. Which is going to slow down everything from there, right? So for the Protoss progression, in order to go for a Robo Facility, a Stargate, a Twilight Council, and basically any mid-game tech or early-game aggression, you need to have a Cybercore done, yeah, so 2 minutes. 2 minutes is roughly when that Cybercore starts up, and normally it finishes at this point. Okay. So, Dark at this point sees it. But what are you going to do about it? Yeah. The coin toss has already happened, and Dark decided to go for a standard opener himself. He'll definitely be making a mental note of this, though. He's like, okay, buddy. Yeah, I went for a bit of an aggressive build in game number 1. I was going to play a macro game here. Maybe I'm forced into a macro game right now, but let's see how it is. Drones have been pulled off of gas at 100, so metabolic boost is going to be coming up for Dark. This is something that the Korean Zergs have been doing lately, which is kind of interesting. There's very small differences between the Korean Zergs and the non-Korean Zergs. And one thing that the Koreans like to go for right now is pulling all the drones out of gas, whereas most of the non-Koreans will leave 1 drone in gas. Just like in the Terran versus Zerg matchup, a lot of the Korean Zergs like to go for 6 Zerglings right at the start, whereas the non-Koreans like to go for 4. If you ask either of them, which I have, you know, if you ask any of the non-Korean Zergs, they'll tell you that 4 Zerglings is better, pulling the, well, 2 drones out of gas rather than all 3. Definitely also superior, but the same can be said for the Koreans. They also believe that their ways are a little bit better. The thing is, I've noticed a lot of the non-Koreans in particular, and I might be wrong, but at least my theory is that they kind of approach this game more or less as like an Excel spreadsheet, where they run the numbers and they figure out what the most optimal way of playing is, and then they play that out over and over and over again. Whereas the Koreans, they seem to play a little bit more feeling-based. They are, yeah, playing it a little bit differently, which is kind of cool. Especially guys like Dark, obviously, they just wing it all the time. Void Ray. So a 4-minute Void Ray. What do you think about this, Dark? Well, first off, apparently we've once again got ourselves a Roach Warren. A 4-minute Void Ray. That is weird. Normally this... Ooh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, there's a Fleet Beacon coming up right now on the back of this too. Normally that unit is out so much quicker. It's now gonna be an Oracle too. But that Void Ray basically screams, I don't wanna, yeah, I don't want you to scout anything, but I also don't really want to die to anything stupid like a Roach Push or anything along those lines, so I guess I'll get myself a Void Ray. The Void Ray, though, is a very passive option, where you don't really get much of, you can't really get a lot of value out of the unit until you get like a dozen of them, which in the current meta of StarCraft 2 isn't really done, or you can snipe a couple Overlords, right? Other than that, it's just gonna sit there at one of the bases and maybe kill a couple Zerglings here from time to time. Already, though, Dark is marching. Da, 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 da. It's a really slow march. Ba, 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 ba. It's Tempest here. Okay, I was gonna say, if this is gonna be carriers, that would be a lot of trouble. This is still a lot of trouble, don't get me wrong, because honestly, at this point, there is 1 Stalker, 1 Void Ray, 1 Oracle, and 1 Zealot. So we've got 1 of each. There's now 2 Stalkers. But anyways, there's no way that this 3rd Nexus is going to live. Although that Oracle is trying its very best. Void Ray has now also come back home. Maybe it should have been sitting here for a little while already. But honestly, the end result would be the same. Maybe with a couple more dead Zerglings. But that Nexus is super gone. A Tempest, unironically, may actually work out quite decently here, assuming that he does not have the Zerglings break into the mineral line. Yeah. So the Tempest can obviously fire away at those queens from a distance. And there's not a whole lot that the Zerg can do about it when there's, yeah, a couple of shield batteries over here. I mean, he can try. Okay, well, he's going to. Battery overcharge already activated. Yeah, a Ravager goes down. He's trying to bile down that shield battery too. That was actually very close, but not enough Ravagers here in total. Okay, and now the Tempest can go across the map. Sometimes, at least in my own games, I have lost against this sort of situation, even though Zerg is in a fantastic spot right now. The thing is, there's nothing to counter those Tempests. So a Spire just started up, but the Spires take a very long time to build. I've made the mistake in the past of putting down a Hydra Den in this scenario. Hydras also cannot catch them, although maybe with the new multiplayer balance patch, they're going to be a little bit quicker. Maybe then they're going to actually be a good option. It's, I believe, 5 Tempest to, well, I don't know how it works out with 4 Tempest and +1, but I believe it's 5 Tempest to one-shot a Queen. So obviously there's some value there. A couple of Dropper Lords are coming up. This is not the time, Dark. Ooh. Is that what we're doing? We're doing it for safety? No way. So he's trying to buy time, right? Like, that's what he's trying to get done right now. Okay, transfusions. He's trying to buy time for the Spire. A couple of slow Overlords turned into Dropper Lords to save the Queen? I mean, that is not something I've ever seen before. Yeah, oh my god, that actually works. If you pick up before those balls of energy connect with the Queens, apparently the Queens take no damage at all. Now Corruptors are coming up. It's just a race against the clock right now for Dark. That is so sick, actually. So he does end up losing a couple of them here and there, but you can almost hear the gears turning inside of Nice's head. You don't actually want to be spending all your time fighting Queens. Like, this is not what you want to do. Third Nexus has started again, by the way. But now Corruptors are coming out. Yep, there they are. Void Rays are made on the back of this too. Nice does have a good economy right now as soon as he can get this mineral line going, because he's got enough workers. A lot of Zealots here as well. Tempest here caught on the right side of the map. I don't know if that's where they want to be. Okay. Well, this is actually going to be a pretty scary push right now from Nice. Oh, okay. Don't know why that Zealot had to die, but fair enough. Sacrifices will continue until morale improves. Nice does not mess around. There's no charge or anything though, so this feels like a really strange attack to me. There's the Void Ray sweeping in as well. Normally, yeah, that activated ability is supposed to scare all of those Corruptors away, but honestly, at this point, the numbers are just in favor of the Zerg. Without charge, those Zealots don't really do much either. And it's Dark who wins game number 2. I was wondering about this. Next up, we find ourselves on Data C. I was gonna fast forward through the first minute of the game, but I figured I should pay special attention to the production tab here, because Dark, after that previous game, is not making a worker at the start of this match, as he decides to go for a spawning pool at 12 supply. This is the most aggressive opener Zerg players can go for, because obviously you can rush a whole lot of Zerglings straight across the map. Is he gonna scout with the gateway? If he scouts with the gateway, this is still gonna be manageable. If he does not, he's gonna be incredibly late. Okay, he does. That's important. A Cybercore scout is basically the same as no scout because you don't really see anything. Okay, it's gotta be that variant of the build as well. I've seen Dark play this before over the last couple of weeks. He's looking for a quick 3-0 in this series. As I think he wants to go for a proxy hatchery as well. Yeah, so you can plant it over here. You can even plant it over here as part of the wall off, and then the Zerglings can just simply run in. Luckily though for Nice, he is gonna get a little bit of time to react. So Zerglings are already building. He sees the lack of natural here. He's gonna see the lack of gas. He's gonna see the spawning pool. So now he knows everything. Well, everything except this. You really don't want to have this, well, in your base. Because right now you can't make a wall off. That being said, oh, he's a little indecisive here, yeah. That being said, he does have the second pylon building over here. One mistake you can make is autopilot and start up the second pylon in your main base like you normally would. Not the case this time around, so at least he's gonna have a little bit of redundancy back or built in right here with his structures. That's important, because otherwise the Zerglings would just simply try to counter that one pylon that is ruling it all. 5 probes have been pulled away from the mineral line, which does seem pretty good. Okay, we're dancing. Dancing queen, young and sweet. The zealot is the dancing. Love to see that. Ooh. Couple of links though do sneak in. I mean, that was decent, but nothing too amazing. Would love to see production out of that second one. There we go. Gateway does indeed start producing. A little bit of dancing now continues in the main base as well. The Adepts are going to be joining the battlefield. This time around, they are going to go into the main base. We've seen them go straight across the map in the past, but I don't think that's the right call here. Honestly, really good stuff right now from Nice, though. He did not panic. He did not really make any mistakes. There's still more and more Zerglings running across. Yeah, so the reason why the Zealot is so far forward is that normally we only see about 10 Zerglings with this opener, but Dark is making a whole lot more. Problem is, though, this is expensive. Like, he's been at 14 workers for a long time. Good micro there, tucking that one Adept in between the mineral fields. Excellent. Really nicely done right here by Nice. I mean, that nickname, I'm gonna keep making puns unintentionally, but that was really good. Couple of Zerglings sneaking around the site. 14 links have gone down. The problem is, now as soon as that army from the Protoss moves across the map, you once again, while you want to be droning, you have to make Zerglings now, because otherwise you find yourself falling behind even more. Because, I mean, then the, you know, army will just kill stuff, and that's one of the reasons why normally we see only 10, that's the Dutch word for 10. We normally only see 10 Zerglings in total. I don't know why I suddenly mixed in a Dutch word. I'm casting this early in the morning. Have I said anything in Dutch? Yes, I did say goodbye to my girlfriend this morning. That's about it. I mean, someone's gotta, you know, go to work and pay the bills, right? Not everyone can just sit around and play video games all day. That's a joke I've been making with her for years. She's not a big fan. Anyways, Adepts going into the main base again. Link speed is nowhere even remotely done. One Zergling is still running around the main base, scouting whatever. The queens are gonna be helpful. One of the Adepts indeed got killed by them, but yeah, a forge is gonna be added onto the front as well, which is kind of an interesting choice. I would imagine the Forge is going to be here primarily for a timing attack, although normally I would combine the Forge upgrades together with like a Twilight Council upgrade as well. Ooh, okay, well, Dark is not done yet. We thought Dark was finished with his cheese. I mean, it's gone tremendously wrong so far, so I think at this point, Dark is thinking, yo, I'm going to put all of my eggs in one basket once again. I've got 22 workers and a dream. I'll just be going for a Ling Bane bust now. I mean, there's always a chance, right? I mean, to be fair, if you play a macro game from here as the Zerg, you'll probably lose. Because what exactly can you get done? Now, catching a couple Adepts here in the middle of the map is a good start. But making that many, making up for that many worker losses is really tricky. So going for a cheese here, a follow-up cheese, I really don't mind it. Those stalkers and those sentries, though, that one stalker rather and those sentries, they should really be over here instead. Can we walk forward and force field that? I think we need to. Okay, well, he's not going to. He does not want to take the bait. Instead, we're going to warp in an additional sentry. There should be enough sentries to force field here for long enough. Beautiful micro here so far by Nice, actually. I'm really impressed. Yeah, he's doing an excellent job in this game so far. Okay, we're gonna instead now bust through that one pylon, which is fair enough, but that was about half of the army right here from Dark sacrificed on that pylon. If you can continue this micro for just a little bit longer, and this crisis management is super hard, a little bit of probe drilling, you love to see it. Where are we gonna escape to, though? Don't escape in that direction! That is not the way to go! Okay. Oh, I also talk to my cats. Sorry. I only talk to my cats in English. Or, sorry, in Dutch, because I'm, you know, not a crazy person. Obviously, my cats only speak Dutch. That makes perfect sense. They don't say much back, by the way, for what it's worth, but... This is looking decent for Dark, but it's honestly not that great. Despite the fact that he just killed 10 probes here, he is still, yeah, not getting enough damage done. Yep, GG. At this point, it's 3 base Protoss versus 2 base Zerg. 39 probes on the side of Protoss versus 25 drones. There's just no way that Dark could hold any of the follow-up aggression. I get to cast a Zerg versus Protoss again, with the Terran music in the background. Whew. The guitar guy going absolutely wild. Next up, by the way, we find ourselves on Stargazers. Once upon a time, when I'm 169 years old, I mean, by then I'm hoping we can live until that age at least. My body is gonna be old and rigid. My voice no longer works. I don't seem to show any signs of cognition at all, but one thing that will happen as soon as the Terran music starts playing is I will be swinging in my seat, or bed, or whatever. It's gonna be exciting, okay? More specifically, the StarCraft 1 music, the Brood War songs. That'd be nice, dude. You won't see me make any movement for days until the as soon as that comes on. Yeah. I'll appear 80 years younger. I'll still appear to be a 90-year-old, but it is what it is. Anyhow, we've got ourselves a Stargate opener with a bit of an interesting wall-off here by Mr. Nice. Nice little Stalker dance there as well. Love to see that. Something is a little funny here. Maybe I should have paid a little bit more close attention rather than... Anyways, doesn't really matter. That Oracle is supposed to arrive on the other side of the map at the 4-minute mark. Or a little bit before that, preferably. Especially on a map like Stargazers, you can get it across pretty quickly. But for some reason, it's arrived a little bit later. Okay. Nice playing a bit of a different build here as well. I'm actually impressed with the way that Nice is holding himself, though. I mean, it's obviously going to be an uphill battle, but he's showing some, yeah, creative styles. So now we're going to go into Phoenixes. We're going to go into Forges. He's going for his own Twilight Council here as well. And that's all, I think, hinging off of the fact that he's got himself a really quick third Nexus. Using the pocket expansion right here to his advantage for that. Dark going for a more conventional style here as he starts up the +1 melee. Macro hatchery already coming up together with a 4th base. So he's going up to 5 hatcheries here in total. This is interesting to me because normally, at least that's what I see most of the Zerg players play. Normally, we see full 3-base saturation, including the gases. Then we see a 4th base, then we see a macro hatch. But in this case, Dark decided to fully saturate his mineral lines only. Then he went for a 4th base and a macro hatchery. Then he started going for some tech structures in a lair. And then now he's taking additional gas. I don't know how much gas he's going to settle on, actually. He's only up to 2 assimilators, or extractors rather, at this point in the game. If we're going only for 3 gas, what exactly are you going to be able to produce? He's going to have an awful lot of Zergling production, I suppose. He can drone up that 4th base very greedily too if he wants to, but... Is he once again going to be aggressive here? We're at 6 queens. I think he probably will be aggressive once again, yeah. So I think the only reason why he made this many Zerglings is because, well, he doesn't have a lot of gas, and it's all by design. So, already a 4th Nexus, by the way. I really like what Nice is doing here. If he can hold on to that 4th Nexus, that would be huge. But Dark is not done cheesing. I don't really know exactly if this counts as cheese. I guess this is dedicated aggression. Let's leave it at that. Either way, here come the queens. They're knocking at the 4th base already. Ooh, good force fields. Those force fields are honestly flawless so far in this series. Really nicely done. Force fielding that at the last second. Another good group of force fields right there, trapping a couple of the Zerglings. Battery overcharge is going to activate. But yeah, no good targeting right there by Dark, going after the wrong 2 shield batteries. A pylon, however, is gone, so one of them is not powered anyways. Is there enough for Nice to hold on? I don't think so. Maybe his build is just a little bit too greedy, but this is obviously also, though, very, very dedicated here from Dark, right? I mean, he's only at 61 workers at this point. I wonder if Nice is committing a little too much to the defense. Yeah, sentries is going, or they are going to fall. The infrastructure at the 4th command center, it will also go down. The Protoss command center. And Perry over here is thinking about his last words. Maybe he doesn't need to. Perry, you made it, dude. How'd you do that? Amazing stuff. So this was a quick 4th Nexus with double Forge. Phoenixes, and now he's gonna plant one down again. Okay. There's the infestation pit here from Dark. He's already gonna go for a 5th hatchery, well, I guess 6th hatchery here too. Creep spread is looking pretty nice. But honestly, I don't think that that trade was necessarily that amazing for the Zerg. I think Perry is stuck. Perry, I think you can squeeze in between those mineral fields, mate. I think you're not that thick, dude. I know the holidays just ended, but I think you can go in between there. Anyhow. Hive is coming up. That is a really quick Hive. I was thinking maybe this could even be Swarm Host play here from Dark. Anyhow. The plan right now, I think for Zerg is to go into Brood Lords. So this is something that, okay, gets scouted pretty nicely as well. That's a 3rd evolution chamber. Would you look at that? The triple Evo build. The Trevo build. We love to see it. Whereas right now, yeah, we have Nice going into the double upgrades here, and he should be able to venture out into the map when 2-2 is finished quite nicely. He does need to be careful though, because army-wise he's at a bit of a disadvantage. I think this is mostly just him clearing out a bunch of creep. So Stalkers are not terrible against Brood Lords. But there is this weird shift, right? Where when there's enough Brood Lords, they can 100% kill the Stalkers. Especially when there's a lot of Zerglings on the ground as well. And with +2 melee already finishing up, I'm expecting Adrenal Glands as well at Hive Tech. Yeah, Zergling Brood Lord really can shut down Stalker nicely. Or Stalker armies, that is. There's a lot more gateways here coming up too. So Nice obviously practices a lot with Haas, or at the very least they play each other in tournaments all the time. So I think because of that, naturally you also start studying some of Haas's builds. The Taiwanese special here, Mass Gateway, +3/+3 already coming up. Ultra Cavern together with a Greater Spire, by the way. So we're going for everything, which would be a little bit risky in most games. But there's really not that much firepower here in his army from Nice just yet. I mean, it's just gateway units. I do expect him to start venturing a little bit deeper onto the creep, but you can see how much time Dark is buying here with that creep spread of his. Protoss army is just, yeah, constantly busy spreading those, or pushing back the creep tumors, but apparently when he pushes back the creep down south, the creep in the middle is once again expanding, and the same goes for the creep up north. So all of this combined is buying him a ton of time. And now the Ultra Cavern is done. The Greater Spire, just about to be finished morphing in as well. Adrenal Glands, triple Evo. This is Dark investing thousands of resources into things that aren't really going to help him out. Until a couple minutes later. So as long as he can buy enough time, this is going to be amazing for him. And honestly, I think he's doing that just fine. Does he have any Corruptors out? No, he doesn't have any Corruptors. Couple Infestors even coming up too. Pathogen Glands coming up? Okay, well Dark, you're playing a little too greedy right now to my liking, man. But yeah, Adrenal Glands at this point is finished. That's about a 40% attack speed improvement on those Zerglings. With +2 melee, they will already pack a punch. Yeah. Oracles are having a grand old time though. Those Oracles are actually packing a lot of damage here as well. 93 workers for our Protoss. So 93 probes versus 83 drones. I'm not sure exactly how this works out. I'm inclined to think that the situation here for Dark is better, just because he's playing so ridiculously greedy. He's now also gonna go for a Nidus network. But economy-wise, Yeah, it's starting to look better here for Nice. It's just that Dark is super scary in the late game, and I've got a feeling that it's not gonna be an easy couple of minutes here for Nice coming up. Because everything that Dark has been working towards is just about to finish. Ultras can come out. I mean, he's probably gonna reinforce with those. I'm still not seeing much of a counter, though, to any of those, you know, any of those low tier, or any of those high tier Zerg units. I mean, we just have Stalkers and Oracles, and that's great and all, but... Okay, Zerglings do sneak out. Second Nidus Worm even coming up in this same location, too. Dark already has a lot of money in the bank just because he has had the economy advantage for such a long time. This is all getting denied, though. Okay, now we finally have a transition. So we're going into 5 Stargates together with a fleet beacon. I feel like that's a little late. He's now going to go into Storm. He's now going to go into the +1 air weapons. So now finally is when Nice is pivoting from that mid-game Stalker ball into a, you know, more sustainable unit composition. I think that's important. I just wonder if it's in time, though, because... I guess the idea is to go for, like, 5 carriers at once. Carriers become real scary if he gets, like, multiple waves of those units out. If he can suddenly whip out, like, 10 carriers, that would be fantastic. Would have loved to see the +1 flyer attack a little bit sooner, though. Especially with +2, those units tend to get really, really strong. Anyhow, Brute Lords are morphing in. It's 6 of them. Pretty conservative number there. Nothing all too crazy. He's thinking about going for the gold base, but that's not gonna happen. So one problem right here for our Protoss, though, is that he can't actually make any of those big flying units yet, because he simply doesn't have the supply. Like, he's got so much supply caught up in workers that he doesn't actually have supply to make much of an army anymore. He's also got a ton of Stalkers, but might be time to start trading out some of those. But you gotta trade them out slowly, okay? You can't get funkled and then lose half your army. Because then the Zerg is gonna be all over you, and you're gonna be halfway with your carrier production. Recall over here, going towards the pocket base. Nothing inside of this Nidus Worm this time around. Just a little bit of a scare. Haha, gotcha. But this is apparently the time where Dark wants to go for a move. 1 carrier is coming up. Look at the production tab right now for Protoss as well. He's getting a little bit of everything. Now he sees the Broods. Stalkers here on the other side of the map. This is the correct move, I believe, but I'm still scared for a Fungal Growth. Fungal Growth inhibits the ability to go ahead and blink. Very expensive set of units right here for the Zerg player to lose. But now he's going to be able to replace that lost supply with Ultralisks and more Zerglings. Nothing available at this point to kill Ultras. You really need Immortals in order to deal with those Ultralisks properly. Queens and Brute Lords up north. Zerglings, though, together with Banelings and the leftover Roaches and Ravagers from the early game as well. Probably wants to trade these out here at some point, because you really don't want... Ooh, you really don't want to have those anymore at this moment. That was an unfortunate situation for those probes. Okay, looks like the Roaches and Ravagers are gonna get sacrificed indeed, but they'll be... No, never mind. They'll be replaced here later on with some better units too. Brute Lords still raining their Brutelings from the high heavens. Now the Ultralisks are also available. These are the big Ultras from the current StarCraft 2 balance patch. Although I'm not exactly sure when I'll be publishing this video. Maybe the new balance patch is live, but I don't know. There's some word on the StarCraft street that we may very well be seeing the new balance patch very quickly. With a new map pool as well. Allegedly. I don't know, guys. That'd be exciting. That would be fun. Anyhow. I don't think I like this situation here for Nice as much anymore. I love the fact that he added on so many Oracles, but I feel like he transitioned away from this army a little bit too slowly. And Dark picked up on that right away, right? He played super greedy on the back of this, and he's now finding himself in a really nice position. That being said, if this base can get up and running here in the bottom left-hand corner, it is going to be a whole lot more playable here for Protoss. Oracles are currently without energy. Okay, that one Ultra getting so much damage in it as well, but... The problem is, when you expand so quickly, these bases are also going to run out relatively early, right? So we're now getting to the point where all of these, bases that he acquired super quickly, they're running out of juice. I'm even expecting Dark to take the golden base. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. He's running into the same problem on his side of the map, but he's got a lot more mobility here. The Queens and the Brute Lords, though, slowly pushing one another forward. A lot of Corruptors up in the air right now, too. We do have Storm done, so a couple of Juicy Storms can help out, but Night is Worm apparently not even needed to get into the main base. And keep in mind, these are fully upgraded Zerglings now. They deal a ton of damage. Don't lose! No, don't lose the High Templar! Those are the only units you can't lose! Oh, that hurt! Okay, well, now suddenly, look at the Corruptors, yeah. Now suddenly the Corruptors can jump straight on top of that air army. And with that, it's indeed Dark who obtains the victory in this best of 5 series.